Welcome on in. My name is PJ. This is a raid challenge video. In today's video, we're going to be going over the two, yes, I know, not that many, two buff champions Plarium is deciding to do this month. Let's get right to it. So the first champion we're going to talk about is Elegaius, and let's see what they're doing to him. So Spirits of Spray. So before we attack one enemy, has a 25% chance of placing a block active skills debuff for 1 turn. The chance increases by 0.75% for every 1% HP this champion loses. Wow, what a terrible skill. Oh, what a terrible skill. So let's see what it goes to. Let's see what it changes to. Attacks one enemy has a 50% chance of placing a block active skills for 2 turns. A lot better. Block active skills is very meta now, especially with mythicals running around. It is one of the ways to kind of control them a little bit, because even if you lock out the mythical skills, they still have the option to transform to the second form, obviously depending on if they did it or not. But if it's like if it's a fresh battle, then they have the chance to swap. So block actives, you lose that ability. You can only A1. So this is way better. Not sure if there's any going to be books for this or not, but 50% versus the 25% that depending on how much HP you've lost, like this is ugly. So looking a lot better. Okay, attacks one enemy. This before attacks one enemy, puts the target skills on cooldown, also places a block buffs debuff for 2 turns. If the enemy team has any duplicates of the target champion, will also put their skills on cooldown and places a block buffs debuff on them for 2 turns.
Hold up guys, now is the perfect time to click on my link in the description and get a free Karato as well as 4 more insane free epics as you level up. Here's how to do it. Step 1, log out of Plarium Play on PC and uninstall. Step 2, click the link in the description and register with a brand new email. Step 3, launch raid and complete the tutorial. Step 4, go to the inbox and claim your first champion. Don't miss out on your chance to get a free Karato after signing up, as well as Uugo, Rector Drath, Tagoar, and Mausoleum Mage as you progress through the game. So click on my link right now and let's crush this together.
So before the change, this was pretty useful for Faction Wars. Obviously Faction Wars is a pretty small area of the game, but it was pretty useful for some of the stages. I think for like maybe the Valkyrie stage, or there's a few stages where there's multiple champions, multiple of the same champion. And if you had Elegaius, that was one of the ways to help counter that. Now that's obviously very old school. We have hard Faction Wars now, so very old school. And even then, it was still very specific, very unique, pretty much just for like Faction Wars and very specific places in the game. Not very common to have multiple of the same champion on the same team. So let's see what it goes to now. So after attacks one enemy, puts the target skills on cooldown, also places a block buff debuff for 2 turns. Cool. So it's a lockout on one champion, and then if there are any enemy champions that share the same affinity as the initial target, also puts their skills on cooldown and block buff debuff on them for 2 turns. 4 turn. This is looking way better. Having a team where you have multiples of the same affinity is very common, versus having a team where it's multiple of the same champion, very niche. Because I mean, let's say in live arena, obviously I'm not sure if you're going to be using this champion in live arena. This is an example. Live arena, you can't use this. If you're in gold, you can't use the same champion on your team. You can only have individual champions. You can't use dupes. So yeah, pretty much useless. But on the opposite side, there's teams where you go all void. Like if you have an Odin, Marius, Siphi, and then a Yumiko or something, or an all void team, that's common and definitely viable. So now if that does happen, you can just lock them all out. Or in Faction Wars, Curse City, other areas of the game, they might not have the same champion, the same team, but I'm sure they're gonna have waves that have multiple of the same affinity. So this is a lot better. Blocking their skills out, also putting the block buffs on them for 2 turns. I think this is a big win. Looking way better. And then we got Ghost Rage. Attacks all enemies, has a 75% chance to remove 2 random buffs. Also has a 75% chance to decrease all enemies turn meter by 20%. Decreases enemy turn meter by a further 10% for each removed buff. Yeah, kind of meh, only it being a 2 random buffs. So that switches to attacks all enemies, has a 75% chance to remove all buffs, so a full team cleanse. I'm guessing this books up to 100% chance. And also has a 75% chance to decrease all enemies turn meter by 20%. And then also decreases enemies turn meter by additional 10% for each buff removed. So yeah, it looks a lot better. Having a full cleanse versus having the 2 random buffs is way better. And then the other part is pretty much the same. But yes, having that full cleanse versus the 2 random buffs is a win in my book. So overall, he's looking a lot better. Still not going to be super meta. He's going to be annoying to face. There are some Elegaiuses in Faction Wars that we have to face. So if you're early game, it could be a little bit more of a struggle facing him. He's already annoying to kill because of his passive can keep him alive. So he's going to be a little bit more annoying to face if you're early in the Faction Wars. But generally, I think this is a good buff for the champion. Now let's take a look at the second champion here. All right, so Raglin is the other champion that we are going to be getting a buff for. Now let's take a look. Void champion. So before, removes all debuffs on all allies and heals them. The heal amount is proportional to this champion's attack. Ruh-roh, that's not very good. So let's see what has changed, especially because they're a support champion. Why would you want to build attack on your support champion? Doesn't make very much sense, Plarium. So let's see what they change in it. After, removes all debuffs from all allies, places an increased accuracy buff and increased attack buff on allies for 2 turns. Then heals all allies. The value of the heal is proportional to this champion's attack and HP. Okay, so let's break this down. The first part. So removes all debuffs, all allies, nice cleanse. And then we have the increased accuracy and the increased attack. Really good for bombers, goes great for like a Nishak. You need the increased accuracy and the increased attack. 2 buffs that pair very well together. So we like that combination. The second part, healing off of attack and HP. Not very happy they still up the attack. I think the HP will be hopefully a bigger value of the heal, so you can build more into the HP and not as much into the attack. Kind of weird that they left it, but at least there is now an HP part, so building into the HP, you won't be kind of hurting yourself, as before you were getting like not much value outside of just staying alive, which you want, but there's no value to the heal. At least you're getting some value to the heal now, along with staying alive. So I think this is looking a lot better. And then we got the miracle. So this is the revive. So before, basic revives all allies with 50% HP and turn meter, and ascended revives 75% HP and full turn meter. Sorry, the first part was 50% HP and full turn meter. Second part, 75% HP, full turn meter. Now, a basic revives all allies with 50% HP and 100% turn meter. And then revives all allies with 75% HP, 100% turn meter. Also decreases the cooldown of all revived allies' skills by 3 turns. So this is looking a lot better. As in a revive that comes, it's not AoE, it's a single target revive, but it's on like a 2-turn cooldown, I believe. So you can get it very, very fast. And now being able to reset your cooldown of this person you're reviving is really good. You can just come back pretty much with full turn meter, almost full HP, 75% HP. So you're gonna be in a good shape for that. You won't just die right away like if you're 1 HP. And you have your skills back, so you can A2, A3, get those nukes off, get the revives depending on whoever you're reviving. They're gonna be good to go. You don't have to worry about their skills being on cooldown if you revive them and not having what you need ready. And then she didn't have a passive before. Void champion, no passive. Ouch. After passive, this champion is immune to block active skill debuff and cooldown increasing effects. Very interesting. They keep on doing these immune to like cooldown, or they don't keep doing it, but so they had this new gear set, Chronophage, which is supposed to be like counter to cooldown increasing effects, and then this champion is also immune to cooldown increasing effects. It's kind of interesting that they're just like really pushing cooldown, like anti-cooldown increasing recently. And then she also immune to block active skills, which I mentioned earlier is a very, very strong debuff right now, especially if you're mythical locking them out, but at least locking out anyone. It can't be reflected by the wand, which is nice. It's just a very strong debuff. So not being able to have your skills block active skills, and then also not being able to have your skills put on cooldown or increasing them is very strong. So she's looking a lot better. The one downside to this is, again, I called them out for this a little bit ago, and I'm gonna say it again. This is gonna help the player base, yes, but who is this also gonna help? Plarium. And why do I say that? So let's take a look here in Hard Faction Wars. So for Hard Faction Wars, we have some stages. Stage 19. Not every stage 19, but a lot of the stage 19s. If we go here and take a look, what do we have here in the first wave? A Raglin. So it's just another champion that, yes, you're helping the community by, like, it's a champion that needs a buff. They're also helping themselves because it's going to make faction wars a lot harder. Depending on what factions they're in, you're not gonna be able to, you can't lock her out now. You can't put block active skills on her. Her revive's going to be way better now because she's resetting the skill cooldowns of them. One other quick thing that I wanted to mention that I kind of just realized that I wanted to talk about was not only about her revive that is better and that you can't lock her out, can't block active skills her A2 is a lot better now because she's putting increased attack and increased accuracy on everyone. So the nukers are going to hit harder, and then if you're building a certain amount of res to try to resist, well, now they have increased accuracy. So that's going to be a little bit tricky. Granted, Galathier has increased accuracy on his second form, but it takes a few turns for him to flip over now, whereas Raglin, she's going to A2 quite often. So yeah, she's just going to be a lot harder and more annoying to face in these faction war stages. And I just want to put that out there as well. I forgot about the increased attack, increased accuracy. So they're going to be hitting harder, and you're going to need more resistance because now they have more accuracy. Yay! So I just hate how they're doing this. It seems like every time it's a little bit of a win for the community. It's a bigger win for Plarium. It seems like all the people they've been buffing have been in hard faction wars recently, which is also quite annoying. They're just making it harder. This content's already hard enough, and they just keep on buffing the champions in it. So that's a little bit frustrating, but just wanted to show that off really quick. But generally, let me know what you guys think. If these buffs are good, if they're bad, if I missed anything. Oh, also, wait, I did actually miss anything. I did miss something. I thought I said this earlier, and I want to go back and say this. Yeah. So I think I missaid it. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think I read this as a text on me chance of removing all debuffs. Yeah, I think I read this as all debuffs. It's not a cleanse, it's a strip. So yeah, let me just clarify that. So before I had a chance of removing 2 random buffs, now it's a chance of removing all buffs. So it goes from a mini strip. Yes, I'm pretty sure I was saying it was a cleanse. So I was getting a little mixed up. Sorry about that. But here's correction. So it goes from a mini strip to 2 random buff strip to now a full strip, a full buff removal. So this is way better. Gonna be way better for your turn meter as well, because before you were limited to only 2 random buffs per champion, so you were kind of locked into how much turn meter maximum you could get. Now you're not locked in. If they have more than 2 buffs, then you're going to remove 3-4 buffs from each person. You're going to get a lot more turn meter fills. So yeah, this is actually a lot better now that I look at this. So yeah, I just want to throw that in there. This is a lot better. I misspoken before. I'm pretty sure I said it was debuffs, but it's buffs. And yeah, that's it. 2 champions only kind of stinks. I wish they would do more than 2 a month. There's almost 1,000 champions in this game. I think we need more than 2. And more of the champions that are just in hard faction wars or in Curse City. Maybe check out Rosin. Rosin could use a little buffy buff. Hit that like, hit that sub button. Let me know if you guys agree, disagree, if I missed anything. And we'll see you guys next time. Peace.